Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel and thanks for joining me for another video. This is Quita from AtHomeWithQuita, and here I share tips on how to plan a balanced life. So if you're new here, I hope you'll consider subscribing. Trying to figure out what planner to use for daily living can be a bit of a frustrating process with lots of trial and error during that process. One of the most common questions that I get asked is, should I use multiple planners? And honestly, it's a personal choice and there's no right or wrong answer. It's all going to depend on your time management needs, what you have going on in life, your budget, and your multitasking capabilities. That will all affect whether it's a good idea for you to use more than one planner or not. So if you're asking that question and you feel uncertain, this video may be able to help you. It's the next part of the Planner University series on my channel that goes all the way from start with choosing the right planner for you all the way up to finding planner peace. So we're going to discuss the most relevant pros and cons of using more than one planner at a time. And we're also going to discuss the type of planning you may need and different ways to use a planner if you do have more than one area of your life you need to manage. So let's get into it. So let's talk a little bit about my planning system. So I use two planners in terms of carrying them around, but within each planner I do what's called Franken planning. We're going to discuss that a little bit later in the video, but these two planners are my main. I have a catch-all planner for everyday life, and then I have a business and social planner for my business needs and all of that. So I typically carry around these two. So just briefly wanted to share with you kind of how my systems look and what works for me. And so you hopefully throughout this video will be able to determine what is going to work best for you. Multiple planners or just one single planner. And we'll break that down even further and we'll talk about how to combine planners. If you just want to use one planner but you want to have multiple systems within that planner, we're going to go through everything today. So first, let's talk about the types of planners that can be used as a standalone planner, or you can Franken plan. Now, I know you're going to hear that word Franken plan throughout this whole entire video. No worries. I'm going to break that down in terms of what that means and how that may look for you. So let's first talk about the different types of planners that you may or may not need. So grab a pen and paper so that you can make a list. And then we're going to determine from this list which of these planners you may need in your life. All right, so all of these planners that I'm going to mention are available as standalone planners, meaning that you can just buy a meal planner, you can just buy a budget planner, you can just buy all of these planners individually, and if you want to use them individually, you can, or if you want to combine them all into one system, you can do that as well. So the first type of planner is a meal or recipe planner. So that is the first type of planner, and I'm just going to talk about the most popular types of planners. And then once I form this list, I'm going to kind of show you how that looks, because sometimes if you're a visual person, you're not quite sure if you need it, and sometimes you'll need to be able to see it and kind of how I use it in order to know for sure if that's something that you may need. Next up is a budget or financial planner. And then we have a school or teacher planner. Then we have a wellness planner. We have a business and work planner. We also have social media or content planning. And then we have faith planning, memory planning, and fitness planning. Okay, so these are the most popular types of planners that you'll see out there on the market. Again, can be broken down, and you have one of each of these types of planners that you may use individually, or you can combine them into one system. So again, we're going to talk about all of that, and I'm going to break that all down for you guys. So once you have this list written out, I would recommend writing the list out just so you can see it on paper. You're going to have to determine which of these you need, and I would just literally check them off. So we'll do that. But first, let me kind of walk you through how these planners look. Now, I don't have every single planner, but I'll show you kind of how or what people would use if I don't have that planner available. So first, meal and recipe. So here is my meal planner section. I do meal planning, of course, at a glance. And then I also have meal planner specific inserts so I can plan on a weekly basis. These are from Fancy Plans Co. And most products that I'm going to talk about today are going to be from Fancy Plans Co. So this is a whole entire meal planner, and I keep that, of course, in my planner. So that's kind of how that would look. And then when it comes to recipe keepers, because most planners are going to have the meal planning part of it, and then it's going to have the recipe keeping part of it. When you talk about your meal planners out there on the market that are most popular, we all know the Happy Planner has a recipe keeper. They don't have a specific meal planner, but they do have lots of inserts that you could use for that. It's going to look completely different from this. So you're not going to have this weekly breakdown like this. You're literally going to either have just little half sheets that you can pop in, and then you will have your recipe card. So you can kind of makeshift a meal planner. So that's, of course, something that you're going to have to determine which planner you're going to use. I'm just sharing with you different types of planners in terms of, you know, whether or not you're going to use one system or combine the system. You have to determine, of course, which of these planners you're going to need. And so that's how your meal planner would look. And then your budget and financial planner. Typically when it comes to the Happy Planner, it's going to be a budget planner that has just your regular monthly layout. And then after that, you're going to have different places where you can break down your financials. So when it comes to the budget planner that I just use a monthly layout. I don't, you know, go in with half sheets or anything like that. It just kind of looks like this. And so I write in all of my bills for the month. But again, do your research, go into the craft stores and look at these planners and open them up and see whether or not you feel like it's something that you're going to use based on how it looks as well. So you have to also find the right one of these systems that's going to work for you as well. So that's a part of the process, but I just want to kind of show you how you would plan in all of those planners so you can make an informed decision as to whether or not you need it. All right, so that's budget. All right, and then we get to school and teacher. So typically with school and teacher, you're going to see pretty much the same sort of layout when it comes to the Happy Planner. You have your standard monthly pages, and then you'll have, if it's a school planner, you'll have your breakdowns kind of like this. It'll have your different subjects that you can have at the top. And then when it comes to student planning, they're off to the side like this. So the layout looks a little bit different. So if you need both, grab both. Because you may be a teacher, you may need this, and then you may have a child that needs a student planner that you may need to help them to learn how to use. You may be doing most of the planning in it. You may need both. You have to determine that for yourself. So this is kind of how a teacher layout would look. You put your subjects here at the top, and then if you want to use the teacher planner as a student planner, you can do that as well. If you want to use the student planner as a teacher planner, you can do that also. But typically they're going to look a little bit different, and that is also based on the company. So I'm only showing you Fancy Plans Co. products, but just know that there is a whole world out there of other companies that have fabulous products that you may find of benefit to you, and they're going to be configured a little bit differently. But when it comes to, you know, the teacher planner, student planner, they're pretty much structured the same. You need a place at the top to be able to write in the subject and break down each of those things based on what needs to be done. So again, you have to determine which layout within those two systems is going to work best for you, school and teacher, because you have this and you have the other one that just looks a little bit different, but it pretty much functions the same. All right, and then we get to wellness. Now, when it comes to the wellness planner, I've really only seen the Happy Planner have a wellness planner, and that's going to look, all of the planners are pretty much going to look the same, you guys, and they're all interchangeable. So you may feel like you can use the student and teacher layout for wellness. You may feel like you can use, you know, budget planner, the way that looks for other parts of your life. It's just up to you with how you plan on using them. So just because it says that it's a school and teacher planner doesn't mean you have to use it for that. You can use it for whatever you would like. So when it comes to the wellness planner, you're typically going to see a calendar just like this. and then you're going to see pretty much a vertical layout. And let me show you really quickly how a vertical layout would look. And I'm not able to show you all of these different types of planners in this video because I don't have them all. I'm just showing you what I have available. But again, everything pretty much looks the same. It's all pretty much standard throughout the planner industry. So this is your standard vertical layout, and vertical is used for a lot of different things. This is just a standard calendar layout, but you could use this for whatever. That's the beauty of just your regular standard calendar layout. You could use them for any of these subjects, but they do have different specific planners that are used for these different parts of your life that you need to plan for. So this is kind of how a wellness planner would look. It would look like this, just the boxes here, and you would plan inside of the boxes. And sometimes it has things on the side in terms of inspiration. So it'll say, you know, an inspiring quote or something like that. So this is kind of how a wellness planner would look. And then also when it comes to certain other planners that may be specific for that part of your life, like a budget planner, may have this layout too. So the layout is not necessarily what's important here. Whether you want to determine is whether or not you need this type of planning system in your planner. I just want to show you kind of how that would look. All right, so next up is business and work. So again, business and work, there is no specific planner necessarily for that. You would just pick the layout that works best for you. So when it comes to my business, so this is what I use for my business and social media planner. All right, so this works out for me because I love to be able to break things down by subject. And so this is what works for my business and social media. So you have to decide whether or not you want things split out by subject. Maybe you just want a vertical layout. Check out my layouts video if you're unsure as to how all of these layouts look. That breaks everything down. And so in order to not make this video so long and kind of re-talk about those things I already talked about in a whole dedicated video, I'm going to try to keep it simple, but I do want to mention certain things here and there. So this is a great layout for my business. Again, there is no specific business planner when it comes to most popular planners. It's just a daily planner that you convert into a business planner, but there are other shops and things on Etsy that have more business specific inserts, and we do as well. We do have business and work planner inserts. So there's a ton of things out there on the market that you can use and build a dedicated work planner that may be more functional for you. But this is just one type that works for me. So business and work, you have to determine what's best for you in terms of how you work. If you work outside the house, what type of layout would work for you to where you're the most productive at work. So that is how mine looks. Just to show you, I like to be a visual person too. And this was kind of last minute in this video. I thought I was going to talk to you throughout the whole entire video, but I want to show you bits and pieces as well of what I have. Now, when it comes to social media and content planning, the same thing applies as to business and work planning. It's just a standard calendar, and you have to figure out which layout is going to work for you. So I'm not going to go through that whole thing. Again, that is my business and social media planner that I just showed you, where I plan out all things business, social media, content planning, all of that. That's all in one for me, but you may not do what I do, of course. Most of you probably don't. You may just have a work planner, so that's going to look different for you. But these are just different parts of your life that you need to plan for, and we're going through and we're checking off those things so that way we could either use them individually or we can build a planner that's going to work for us. So those two things are kind of combined into one. Then when you get to faith planning, there are specific faith planners. The only planners that don't have really a specific planner for, unless you buy it on Etsy or something like that, or another company outside of your really popular companies, the only two are business and social media. Those are just regular planners that you convert into a business and work planner. So everything else has dedicated planners for those. So next up is faith planning. So now for me, I have a whole faith planning system, which I'll show you really briefly because it's not in my catch-all planner, although I do have it in here. So if we look in my faith section, I do have a couple of things in here just to keep me on track and to know what my schedule is. But I also have a full dedicated fitness planner, and I do have a video on my channel showing you guys and flipping through the whole thing. So I'm not going to do that on this video because that would take literally an hour. So I'll just show you really briefly how that looks. Okay, so this is my faith planner. This is a Notique cover and classic size. I need a lot of space when it comes to this. So I'll definitely have to blur that out. So don't forget to blur that out. That's an address. We do letter writing in our ministry. But as you can see, it's got a ton of tabs here. It's very chunky. So there's no way that I could fit all of this inside of my catch-all planner. So I know at the beginning of this video, I mentioned that I had planners that I carry around day to day. I don't carry this around day to day, but technically I guess you could say I have more than 2 planners. And you guys know that really I have probably about 5 different planners that I stick inserts into at the end of the month, and then I reflect on them at the end of the year, and then I purge them out. So that's why I don't really lump them in the planners that I carry on a daily basis, because they're really not planners that I carry on a daily basis. And anytime I do a lineup video, I do bring all of those planners out to show you, but they're not planners that I use or consider daily planners, and neither is this. It is, but it's not, only because I use it one time during the day to do my faith studies. Typically it stays on my nightstand or near my nightstand, and when I'm doing my studies, that's when I'm going to pull this out, or during my ministry during the week, which is 2 times during the week, sometimes 3. So that's really the only time this comes out, is 3 times a week and nightly before bed to do that studying. All right, so I wanted to mention that, but as you can see, there's a lot going on in here, so there's just no way possible that I would be able to carry this around with me throughout the house like I do my other 2 planners. So those are all things that you want to consider. So I'm just trying to talk you through kind of my thought process in terms of how I decide whether or not I'm going to use more than one or just only one. This is just word vomit, I guess, at this point. It's not as structured, just because I'm just talking you through my process as well. And we're just showing you how some of these planners look so that you could decide whether or not you want to use them within your lineup. Okay, so that was faith, and then we get to memory planning. When it comes to memory planning, it looks just like the planner I showed you with vertical. This is exactly how it looks. And again, the only thing that differs really is the design and the colors and all of that stuff. From planner to planner, things are pretty much standard. You're going to have your monthly calendar, and then you're going to have whatever weekly is designed for that type of planning, and you know, whatever is going to help you to plan for that. But most often you only have pretty much maybe 7 different layouts. I know in our shop we have like 16, only because I do just different things and I try different things and I want to offer as much as possible. But when it comes to standard planner companies, you're only going to see like a vertical layout. You may see a hourly layout. You know, everything is pretty much going to be structured the same way. So that's why the beauty of it, especially when it comes to discount, is that it's interchangeable. All right, so this is how a memory planner would look, and then you would put your photos in the boxes and all your stickers and decor and things like that. So there's that. And then last up is a fitness planner. So my fitness planner looks like this. I do have a whole dedicated section for fitness planning. So it's going to have a monthly, just like your standard planner, and then you're going to have your weekly, so you can break down all of your meals and such. So ours goes this direction for you to be able to track breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, and workout, water, notes, and then you put the date here at the top. So again, there's several different layouts out there. We are just trying to determine whether or not you need a fitness planner. That's all we're doing in this process of the video, is trying to determine based on visual and how everything looks. You're really trying to think about which one of these you need. So I needed every single one of them, hence why I have them all here. But you may only have 3 checked off. You may only have 1 checked off. And then of course, you guys know we can't forget our daily planning. That's self-explanatory. And that is a known. You started this whole journey because you needed a daily planner. All of these other systems or planners are just in addition to that to help you to break down your life even further. So you guys have already seen my daily planner, but I'll show you again just in case you're new here. There's so many different layouts, but right now I am using the dashboard layout. That is what's working for me right now. But you guys know I change that out depending on how I feel. So that's kind of how that looks. So again, check my layout video out to determine which one of those layouts is going to work best for these specific parts of your life you need to plan for, or if you want to use it how it's intended purpose is for. But again, with the daily planner layouts, there's so many of those different layouts that you could apply to these different parts of your life. life. If you don't like the way the meal planner looks, if you don't like the way the budget planner looks, you can always just use a daily planner layout and tweak it and make it work for that part of your life. Okay, so let me just put that out there. All right, so these are all the different planners, and you just got to check them off to see which one of these that you need. And then once you have determined which one of these planners you need, we need to figure out how you're going to manage it. Are you going to manage it all in one planner? Or are you going to separate them and use each planner individually? Or are you going to do what's called Franken planning? Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about in the next part of this video. So by now, you know if you're a coil girl or a disc girl. I'm a disc girl. I love the way that you're able to remove pages and add pages and build a planner system. There's also ring bound planners that you can do the same thing with, but those typically only come in one size, which is A5. So you have to determine if you're a ring girl, if you're a disc girl, or if you're a coil girl. So if you're, or a guy. So if you're a coil girl or guy or a ring person, then you're very limited in what you can do in the functionality of it. So you are pretty much stuck to one planner and using them either individually. So this would be a whole planner stack of all coil planners, or you would just be combining all of those different systems that I mentioned here and try to plan for all of these things in one planner. So let me show you why I say that. So when it comes to coil, of course, with Erin Condren's system, which is one of the most popular coil planners, and we're only really talking about the popular planners right now. Of course, there are a ton of coil bound planners out there that are just as fabulous as Erin Condren. But with her system, she has different elements that you can use to pop in this planner to customize it even further and do what's called Franken planning, which again, we are going to get into that a little bit later, but you're still limited because you're not able to combine in this planner any inserts. The only thing, unless you make them yourself and figure that out. But really the only thing are like pocket folders, you know, just, you know, sticky notes and things like that. They have discs on them, or not discs, but they have these little punch on here for you to be able to add them to this system. So this system is very limited. It is very popular. But if you're the type of person that doesn't really need to manage all the things and you don't want to have to lug around a planner, you definitely want to consider this sort of system. They also have whiteboard systems or whiteboard inserts that you can pop in here. So you can add to this planner. You're just not going to be able to get the full functionality out of it if you're trying to manage different parts of your life. This is going to be very difficult to do that. But look, if you can figure it out, then more power to you. But again, it's very limited in that you can't add additional inserts. So you can't add a meal planner in here. You can't add a budget planner in here. What you would do is you would actually plan in this specific layout for all of those different parts of your life. So if you know that you need all of this, but you really only want to use one planner, again, that's probably not realistic because this is a lot to try to cram into one planner system, but it's possible. You would just have to repurpose these different sections for those parts of your life. So maybe here you would cover that up and you would do your meal planning for the week, list out Monday through Sunday, and then you would write in all of the meals you want to have this week. You could also do that on the monthly layout. If you're the type of person that only wants to use one planner, you're probably going to want to learn to color code because it's a lot to put in one planner, and you'll want to be able to indicate the different parts of your life by color. That's really the only way that I could see doing this sort of thing, having multiple parts of your life you need to manage for like this and then combining it into one planner, is color coding. Some sort of color coding system is going to be the way to go for you. And then you could also come here at the bottom and write in those meals. But you also have to consider all these other things. Let's say you have 5 things checked off. You want to track your meals, your budget, your school, your wellness, business. Trying to combine all of that into one planner system is going to be very tricky for you, but it can be done. But then you also have to manage your daily life. So I'm just sharing with you different scenarios in which maybe you may want to consider one planner versus multiple planners and vice versa. So this is your standard coil system. And this would be really ideal for the person that just wants to use one planner. And also the disc bound system is great for that as well, but you do also have the option to take pages out and move things around. Also, the ring bound planner system is pretty much the same thing. You can use it as one planner, but because you can move things around, it makes it ideal for those who want to have a more customized system, which is called Franken planning. Okay? So let's talk about the reasons why it's better to have one planner. So one planner is less expensive. Unfortunately, some of the best planners are still relatively costly. Like this Erin Condren planner, I think goes for about $55 to $60. And if you want it customized, of course, it's going to be a little bit more. So it all depends on the design and what options that you choose, but it can get a little bit pricey. So while the per month cost of most planners is reasonable, you typically have to pay for the entire year up front. So if you have two expensive planners, this can be a pain to handle financially. So you want to make sure that you think about that also. And then also it's a great idea to have one planner because it's less juggling around. So as you know, with this one planner system, this is something that you would take all around the house. So as you know, if you only have one planner like this, it's easy to travel around where you need to take it. It's less to manage because you only have one planner. So with more than one planner, you have more elements to focus on, of course. In some ways, you now have twice the amount of work than if you had one planner. And if you don't think spending double the amount of time on multiple planners is worth it, you may find one planner a better solution for you. And then also with one planner, there really aren't duplicate spreads because you're only doing a monthly spread for the month and a weekly spread for the week. And so each planner is going to contain a monthly calendar and a weekly calendar. All right, so that is all about having one planner. So hopefully by now, you've made your list, you know what all you need to track, you know if you're going to try to keep that in one planner, but I want to take even further and share with you the reasons why it may be more beneficial to use two planners. Now again, if you just want to track your daily to-dos, you don't have anything outside of that, you've only checked off maybe 1 to 2 things, using one planner is going to be the best scenario for you. But if you're like me and most everyone out there, you're going to need a little bit more. So now we're going to talk about why using two planners are maybe more beneficial for you. So for me, it would be so difficult to use only one planner to manage my time between all the activities I have to juggle. I would completely run the risk of missing important details if they're all jammed together into one space. So that is why I have to keep my home life and my work life separate. And so I have different sections within my work planner and different sections within my home planner based on those different parts of my life. And again, I use this for reference to see what I knew I needed to plan for in here and what I needed to plan for in here. So the benefits of using a multiple planner system, and again, this is Franken planned, and we're going to get to that because I know you're probably like, what is this word? Some of you maybe, I know some of you aren't newbies and you know what that means, but you need to determine, because we're now on the part to where you know you need multiple planners. Are you going to have a planner stack of 10 planners and using those individually, or are you going to still try to keep it a little bit more simple and not have so many planners to manage, which means Franken planning is the way for you. You're still using multiple planner systems, but you're only keeping them enclosed into maybe 2 to 3 planners, or maybe 1. So that's a great option as well. And it makes you feel like you're keeping it simple and using one, but you know you're still able to plan for all of those different parts of your life. So the first reason why it's better to have 2 or more planners is because you can achieve time management for different areas of your life. The next reason why it's beneficial to use more than one planner is that you can separate out tasks. So as you can see, any work-related tasks can go in here, and any home-related tasks go in here. And so if I just, kind of show you how that would look, some of these things don't belong in my catch-all planner. I don't need to have to-dos for my shop and my catch-all planner, or for YouTube, or for Amazon, or for Instagram, TikTok, Patreon. None of that needs to be written in my catch-all planner, because then that makes me close off this part of my life. And then when I know I need to focus on family and home, then that is when I'm opening up this planner and I'm planning for those parts of my life, like my ministry, like anything for Addison School because of the sections that are in here, any financial stuff, any meal planning, all of that stuff is housed in here. So I'm able to toggle back and forth between the two and only focus on those specific parts of that within those 2 planning systems. But again, I do have multiple planners. This isn't just 2 planners because I have lots of different things within these 2 planners based on what part of my life I'm working with. So if you find it confusing to have everything in the same place and it makes it more challenging to organize your tasks, then you may find using 2 or more planners to be beneficial. Okay, so again, you have 2 options for using multiple planners. You're either going to have a whole planner stack of however many planners based on this list. This is the total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Most people do need to plan for all these areas of their life. Most people, maybe with the exception of maybe 2 or 3. So are you going to carry around 10 planners? Okay. I can't do it. You know, I have done it in the past, so I can say that it is very difficult because you also have to manage those planners, or you're going to Franken plan. So let's briefly touch on that. Basically what Franken planning is, and really the only systems that you can do that with, is a disc bound system, which is what this is, or a coil bound system. And basically what that is that it has 3 rings, and that typically comes in A5. That's really the only size it comes in. You can fit half letter inserts in an A5 planner that are hole punched, but typically when you hear of a ring bound planner, it's going to be A5 size. You can Franken plan that too. The only difference between that and this is this. This is the difference. I can literally pull the page out like that. When it comes to the ring bound planners, you have to open up the rings like that and then pull the pages out, unless when you order inserts, you go in and you cut a slit in each ring. That's really the only way. But it's still able to be Franken planned because of the fact that the rings are there and you can move the pages around. So we're going to specifically talk about disc bound because I'm just a disc bound lover, and I think that this is the best system on earth because I am a person that wants to be able to manage multiple planners within one, or Franken plan, and I want to have the option to be able to build a planner from scratch and customize it the way that's going to work for me. Okay, so Franken planning basically means that you're taking all of these different planners and you're combining them into one system. These planners are going to typically come with 12 months or a certain amount of inserts, and it's for the whole year most likely. And so the planner would be like that thick and there's no rings that would fit it. There's nothing that would fit a planner to be able to Franken plan with every single one of these inserts in it for 12 months. So what you typically do is you grab a month or 2. Now for me, what I do is I grab a month because a month is really the only thing that's going to fit in here the way that I have it set up. So you'll want to sit down when developing a Franken plan system. And if I need to do a separate video on that, let me know, because I know a lot of people are really confused on how to Franken plan and how to build a planner and what sections may work for them. So I can do a whole video on that. I don't have that planned for the Planner University series, but if you feel like I should add that video in here, then I can do that. I was trying to kind of touch on that during this video, but I know that some of you may need it to be broken down even further, and that's okay. So I only have September in here, so I keep the whole month of September. Okay, and that's within my calendar section, so that's a great section to add. And then I have next up meal planning. So the beauty about this is that I didn't even mention a home planner. Happy Planner does have a home planner as well, or an expansion pack. So you could, you know, add that to your planner, but this isn't a specific planner. So that's why I didn't touch on that. This is all stuff that you would build on your own based on what you know you need. But meal planners, there is a dedicated meal planner. All right, and then we get to meal planning, which is here. These are all very popular parts of a person's life that they would plan for. And then budget and financial, I have here. Of course, we talked about having all of that in here. And so I have everything sectioned out, and I have those inserts or that planner, and I stick that in that specific section. Again, some of these inserts are just things that you can purchase standalone on like an Etsy or someone else's shop. They're not standard across the industry to have certain inserts, and some are. And so you would literally buy that whole entire planner for the year, and then you would take out however many months you would want, and you would stick them within these different sections. When you Franken plan, you typically are gonna have divider tabs that aren't just monthly. And so when you get your standard planner that you pick up from whatever company you get it from, it's going to come with months. And when you Franken plan, you're not really organizing your planner by the month. You're organizing it by subject, which means that this wouldn't be helpful for you. Of course, within this system, it's all standalone and stuck in here. But when it comes to your disc bound system, you can take those months out and store them somewhere until you get ready to use them. And so that's the whole concept of Franken planning, is basically taking a planner and putting it all into one system so that you only have one planner for that part that you're Franken planning for. Or you can even do business and home all in one planner and only have one physical planner. But within this planner, I have literally probably 5 to 7 different planners. So I am using multiple planners, but I'm only physically carrying one planner. That's the beautiful part of Franken planning. So this is considered to me using multiple planners. So when you're using one, you're literally only using one physical planner and you're not customizing it in any way, and that may work for you. And then you may just track all those things in one planner. And so although this is physically one planner, it's not considered one planner to me because there's different planners within this planner. So that's Franken planning in a nutshell. Same thing goes for my business social media planner. I have different subjects there, and some of these may be planners that you can purchase as a whole year planner, and some of these may be inserts that I can pop in within the section here. So this to me is the best way to do it because it gives you the best of both. I'm only physically carrying one planner for business, but I've got a ton of different planners in here to manage those different parts of my business. So that is Franken planning in a nutshell. And I recommend the disc-bound planner because they offer so many different systems that meet certain time management needs. The discs allow you to easily interchange the systems you need to use in your planner. So that's going to help you or let you create a customized planner. And to me, that's what I need. So this is all, again, like I mentioned at the beginning, going to be based on you and your needs. So let's talk about how to successfully maintain more than one planner. When you have one planner, it's easy to maintain it. When you have a system like this, it's fairly easy to maintain it. I'm talking about if you have more than one planner, like and you're using them individually, that is a little bit difficult. Trust me, I've done that in the past. But that may be something you want to do because you just have you want each thing to be separated. When you're doing your meal planning, you want to grab that meal planner. When you're doing your budget planning and you're sitting down to figure out financially what you got going on, you don't want to fumble within this system. You want to just use that planner individually, and that is okay. That's something that you have to decide on your own. But if you've chosen to take the leap and keep multiple planners, there are a few things you need to know because it can be challenging bouncing between 2 planners, 3 planners, 4 planners or more. So it's important you know how to manage more than one planner effectively. So a few techniques that prove helpful in managing multiple planners are to keep your planners as separate as possible. So that's probably why you chose to have multiple planners and use them individually, is because you want them to be separate. So keep them as separate as possible. So when you're sitting down to do one thing, only do that thing, close that planner up, move on to the next thing. And that situation where you have separate planners for work and for home, try to not overlap them together. So that way you can keep home separate and you can keep work separate. The next thing is to make sure to schedule time to manage each planner, okay? So we're just using this as an example. I know this is Franken planning. This is not multiple planners individually, but this takes time. Okay, now I like to think that I don't take too much time. Now there are times when I have a full sesh and I sit down, and because to me that's considered me time, I enjoy it, and I sit down and I, come up with all of the things, and that takes time. And you don't have to schedule a lot of time with the task of completing all of these things, but you want to take at least 5 minutes daily to go through each planner. Remember, if you have 10, you're going to have to go through 10, so 5 times 10. Okay, right? It's going to take some time if you're using these planners as standalone planners, but take that time to log necessary information. Make it part of your daily routine so that it becomes a regular habit, and that way you're much less likely to let tasks fall through the wayside. And so those are some tips if you plan on using all of those planners individually, which again can be done. It totally can be done, but it may be more time consuming. It will be more time consuming, and so you just have to plan for that. Okay, and so that way you can use a planner as its intended purpose, which is to make your life better. It should be enhancing it. It shouldn't be just sucking time away from you being able to actually complete the tasks that you have written in your planner. So make sure you set aside that time to be able to plan in each of your planners individually, and that goes for all of your planning systems, whether it be Franken plan, whether you're using the planners individually, or whether you're only using one planner. You have to set aside time to plan in it, and that's that's going to look differently depending on which scenario you choose. So you guys, I feel like I've given you enough information on whether or not you should use multiple planners or just one planner or just Franken plan in one planner. So hopefully you now know which way you want to go. So again, I'll break it down even further in terms of Franken planning. I can even talk to you about how to plan or set up a Franken planner, how to determine which sections you need, what to add to each section. I think I will do that, like a Franken planning 101 video. I'll do that, okay? So you don't have to let me know. Well, you can let me know just so I can kind of see what people want to do, and that will push me even further to do that video. But I really wanted to make sure that this video was structured in a way to where it didn't jumble it up too much with different things, because I feel like when you're starting this whole planner journey, there should be steps you need to take. Which planner do you want? Which layout do you want? What size do you want? You know, do you want multiple planners? Do you want one planner? I feel like certain videos need to be broken down certain ways. So I didn't want to add too much about Franken planning in this video. So I think I will do a separate video on that. It'll literally be building a Franken plan planner from start to finish and how to do that. Because when it comes to one planner, there's nothing to build. So that doesn't need to be a standalone video. I could combine that into this video, which is why I did it that way. So sorry for all of the just mumbo jumbo, but I just wanted to let you know that if you need more clarity, a video is coming to my channel for that as well. And I just thought of that just right now because I thought that this would be a great video to serve that purpose. But now that I'm thinking about it, I could see how another video would be warranted. So you guys, I talked to you long enough about using one planner versus using multiple planners versus Franken planning. I think you now know, again, if you have more than 2 of these things checked off your list, I think you probably want to use multiple planners either separately or Franken plan them. And just also try to remember that you need a place to store them so that you can see them on a daily basis. Otherwise, if you have them on the shelf somewhere, you're not going to remember to use them. So put them in a place where you can see them so that way you can sit down and you can plan for those different parts of your life. This makes it easier because I'm literally only carrying around these 2 planners, and there's, you know, the footprint is smaller. And so just consider that as well. This is already heavy enough. Using 10 or 5 or whatever, it's going to be just as heavy and cumbersome. So those are all things that you need to consider when deciding whether or not you want to use one planner or you want to use multiple planners. Either way is fine. It just all is a matter of personal choice and what's going to work for you. So as we all have differing schedules, time management needs, activities, free time, it can really be difficult to have one size fits all in terms of your planners and that approach. When you step back and really look at it, finding the perfect planner system can be really challenging, but once you find it, the search will have been worth it. So don't forget that. Finding the right number of planners to suit you and your time management needs is a journey and a process. But if you're willing to take the time to try out different options and be patient, since you may not find the right one immediately, you'll eventually find the right planner combination that will help you to achieve all your tasks and goals in life. So don't forget that. So that is it for this video, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. It gave you a little bit more clarity and that it has helped you in some way. Let me know if you guys have any questions and stay tuned for more videos in this Planner University series. This has become a real joy for me to be able to help you guys and teach you kind of some things that have helped me over the years, all the way from the beginning of the process to eventually we're gonna get into how you find planner peace, which we are all constantly striving for, right? So thank you guys so much for watching today. I really appreciate you stopping by my channel. Hopefully you enjoyed it so much so that you'll give me a thumbs up on this video. You'll consider subscribing to my channel if you're new here, and you'll come back by and catch another video, in which case I'll see you guys then.